Ladies and gamers, my name is BelleNOiR and you are watching Cast My Game episode 13. Welcome to the stream. And here we are. This is my face. This is my nicely shaved cheek. This is my beard. Give some thumbs up for the beard, please. Took me quite a considerable time to grow that, so I'm pretty proud of it. Gonna be sporting this beer 1 week and 2 days from now at the DSCL finals in Den Haag. So getting really pumped for that. I already saw some photos of how the production will be looking. Getting pretty excited. I almost can't wait. So okay, sound is on. Sound is on. So what is this show about? Well, this is a show about me casting replays that you send me. If you care to look below my camera window at the bottom, it says have a 10 to 30 minutes long master versus master replay you'd like me to cast? Mail to BelleNOiR@cesnam.cz. Title Cast My Game. Include short description and it might happen. So this is what we're doing here. Also, if you want to donate to prize pools for BelleNOiR followers tournaments, you can do so by sending your donation to the same email address via your PayPal account. All donations highly appreciated, of course. It helps us tremendously to keep this going. So, what do we have up today? Let me check, because I already have forgotten which replays I have selected. All I know is that today we have 0 mirror matchups, nada, niente, nic, nothing. So we're going to have a TVP, a ZVT, and a ZVP. On 2 of them are going to be on Acheron Wastes. 1 of them is going to be on Daybreak. So let's get on right to it, shall we? After I, of course, welcome everybody tuning in and check the chat. The chat says, "Oh, hello Beard, my name is Gwynblade. Thanks BelleNOiR for introducing us." See? That's a proper response. That's a proper response to an awesome beard. Because we all know that esports make beards awesome. If I worked in a different industry and I was sporting this beard, everybody would be like, "Dude, that's so ugly. That's so last year. No, you're totally out of it. You need to rethink your image." But since I'm a caster in esports, beards are cool, right? Who doesn't have a beard and wants to be a caster? No, not gonna cut it. You just need to grow a beard first. Speaking of hipster, I have hipster glasses and hipster hats because I do love hats. Let's go into the games. So, which one should we be casting first? I think we'll start things off with a shorter game and then proceed to the longer ones. So let's start with the shortest one according to the timer. Let's start with the TVP on Acheron Wastes. Or Acheron Wastes. Of course, I would be very happy if you guys would show your support by tweeting about the stream with the link or posting on Facebook. That would be very sweet of you to do if you decide to do that. So let us check if the overlay switched. Yes, it has. And we are in the game. Spawning in the top left, we have Mythology's very own Terran player in red color. It is Nathan. In the bottom right, we do have CF Spectre. I don't know which clan this is, but he is the blue Protoss. And let me just switch a couple of settings before we go on forward, such as selecting damaged and smart camera pan. There we go. Everything ready for the cast. Overlay didn't switch. Oh, it didn't. Oh my god, I'm so lame. What the actual fuck is going on here? Thank you for warning me, guys. Good thing I keep the chat open on the second screen whenever I'm doing the casts. Alright, so Nathan just building the supply depot, opting to scout straight afterwards. You know, lately some Terrans prefer not to scout with the SCV, just getting that extra boost of income. Instead, just opening up with a gas and scouting with a Reaper. And for example, then they can get a reactor onto the barracks and expand off of that, while having the option to jump inside the Protoss base every now and again and scout what is going on. Now, Nathan is going to see a pretty typical thing right now, which is, of course, the gas here. He did not click on the gas, but he did see that the probes are just now being rallied onto it. Now he clicks on the gas, so he knows exactly how much has been mined. And a gateway, of course. So unless a second gas goes down, he should be pretty okay. He should be pretty, feeling pretty comfortable inside his base. Spectre did get the scout on the gas. Haven't noticed if he actually did click on that, but he does know that it is down. So, what the? Stop trolling me! The overlay is switched. Damn it! Jesus fucking Christ! You guys are awful sometimes. Oh, bad timing, probe. You are going to go down. And Nathan, not wasting a single hit point on that Marine if he can help it, kiting a weak, lonely probe. No second gas going down. And I wonder, is this going to be a move out with Zealot Stalker Mothership Core? Oh, nice move there, Nathan, denying the expansion. That's what you want to be doing. This probe will have to get out of there because it has no chance defeating an SCV that has 5 more hit points than he's got. There comes the Stalker. The Zealot already all across the way on the map. And we do have a Reaper from Nathan. Interestingly enough, he is getting a... Oh, that's an NG Bay block. Okay. So delaying that expansion as much as he can. Very smartly cancelling the NG Bay when the Reaper arrives. One Marine ends up getting shot to death by the Zealot. The Stalker is also joining the fray. But no Mothership Core. However, Spectre, instead of expanding, is going to follow this pressure up with a 3-gate attack. Not going to work though, because with a bunker and a couple of Widow Mines, it's quite okay to defend a 3-gate attack. Moreover, the Warp Gate tech is still not done, and it is not going to be done for yet another 70 seconds. And that will, of course, give Nathan time to get that bunker up. So he's going to be sitting pretty. Getting the Widow Mines, nice choice here, will help him defend very easily. And once the rush or the pressure is defended, he will have the option to drop his opponent with a nice couple of Widow Mines, causing severe economic damage to him. Second gas finishing for the Protoss player. And he does end up getting a 4th gateway and a robotic facility. So instead of just expanding by having his expansion denied, he's opting to just all in his opponent. He's also getting a forge. He must be really scared of the Widow Mines. Keep in mind, he did see the factory. And he did see the reactor, which is the most common thing you see when your opponent is going Widow Mines. But I think Nathan is not going to be switching these. He has an intention of expanding. So, what he's going to do is he's going to just keep that reactor on the barracks, produce as many Marines as he can, because that's the thing that will keep him safe in order to secure that expansion. And ooh, getting a tech lab on to the factory without an armory actually means he's going to be getting tanks. So that will help him further secure his expansion. So He's all set and ready to go. We have an observer out on the way. Looks like Spectre really wants to all in his opponent. He's not been producing probes for quite some time, just sitting on a nice number of 23. Do we have a probe moving out with this force, though? There goes the probe, but it is instead going to put down an expansion. Now, I have to say, this is a fault in reasoning. When you want to all in, do it right. Don't expand off of this, because you're behind economically as it is already. Why put yourself further behind? We already have some Vikings out. Probably Nathan is getting the Vikings to snipe the mothership core, which, in quite honesty, if you do want to expand behind a 4-gate pressure, you need a mothership core for a recall. Otherwise, this force can get taken out. Now, Spectre will get a nice pickup here, picking up that supply depot, will pick off another one. That will allow his zealots to just run up the ramp, but since we don't have the proxy pylon yet finished, it means that the weapons are not happening, which means in turn that the resources for Spectre are climbing to astronomical heights, and he's falling behind in army supply. Surely but steadily, thanks to that reactor. Look how many Marines Nathan already has out on the field, and probably Spectre realizes this, so he's just going to comfortably pull back, leaving the observer here as he is getting the immortals, so probably suggests that he's going to be going for a gateway type army. I'm confused a little bit by the +1 attack upgrade, though. You usually don't get that as your first upgrade in PvT as a general rule, and especially if you're going gateway units, you want armor upgrades prioritized over the attack upgrades. Attack upgrades are helping Immortals, Stalkers, Colossi. They're not helping Zealots, which is the unit that, if massed, is going to keep you alive. And as I was saying, this tank and a bunker is going to secure that expansion quite nicely. No engineering base down yet. Scan going down, trying to pick off any observers, but the observer is out of range of the scan, so maybe he just thought he saw something there. 2 tanks. This base is, at this time, with what the Protoss has, pretty secure, impregnable. With this Marine count, it's not like it's going to be breached anytime soon. But the Stimpak is greatly delayed just because of how Nathan opened up this game. Twilight Council going down. A little bit late on that, so probably wants to be continuing those upgrades, or maybe get charge or blink. But if we look at the harvester count, look at this: 44 SCVs compared to 30 probes. Not a good situation to be in, as the Protoss player Spectre overteched quite heavily here. He threw down a Forge, a Robo, 4 gates, and a Twilight. Admittedly, the Twilight did go down after the expansion, but that expansion is barely saturated. 7 probes, 6 of which are going to be put into the geysers right now. Look at the ratio of his minerals and gas. It's really uneven. He really has too much gas, not enough minerals for the upgrades, nor for anything else. Getting the charge right now, and when you're getting charge, you want to have a lot of zealots. The mineral count and low probe count for the Protoss player means that he's not going to be getting mass charge lots anytime soon. Meanwhile, we see Nathan getting a 3rd expansion on the way, salvaging the bunker. Nice choice there. And honestly, once Stim finishes, which is going to be in about 20 seconds time, he can just push with this. He's got 2 tanks, he's got a lot of Marines, he's got a couple of Marauders to support this force, just to be able to pick off Immortals, Colossi, Stalkers, that sort of thing. And if he sieges up here, he can actually put quite a lot of pressure onto the Protoss player. The Observer is going to go in and get a glimpse of the army right now. And honestly, as when you see this as a Protoss player in the current circumstance, in the current situation the game is in, you should feel scared. Quite honestly, you should feel scared, because there's only one sentry here. The upgrades are not done. Charge is finished, but that's only going to help versus the tanks. Problem is, the Marines will shoot down all those Zealots before they even make contact with the tanks. These are going to be morphed into Archons, of course. No time to wait for Storm. And Nathan, his force is getting into position. He's doing this very cautiously, trying to pick off any observers. The tanks are not sieged. Nice idea by Spectre trying to go for a flank, but as I said, not enough Zealots here, and maybe he will break through, maybe he will not. There are 2 Immortals with this army. He might end up getting those tanks. Actually, he might have tried to go for it. Retreating in this situation was the worst possible decision he could have made. If he just continued to push into those tanks and try to take them out, that would make this force much, much, much weaker. And with reinforcements and more Archons, he could actually annihilate the bio, or at least force it back a little bit. But as it is, he lost more units than he should have, quite honestly. Photon overcharge being activated, but we see that Nathan knows this map inside and out. He knows exactly the range on the Nexus and knows where to position his units in order to avoid that cannon, which, again, this is just the strength of one photon cannon, not very strong. 2 Immortals are not going to be enough to deal with 4 tanks and a load of Marauders. The infantry kiting back to the tanks, getting rid of the Zealots by the splash damage, and all that is remaining is 1 Archon, 2 Immortals, couple of Stalkers, and a couple of Zealots. And I think Nathan might be actually able to clean this up. Look at him go! Just with a couple of units, and this is all the army the Protoss has left. A huge Warpin is needed right now, and Spectre's only chance at this point is wait for Storm and hope that he can break through this army. The Storm changes the matchup dramatically. But if we look at how the game went and where it is right now, I have to say that, in quite honesty, the only chance for the Protoss player is mass a big army right now and go with Storm. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Morphin and Archon just seconds before the Storm is done. That's one of the worst plays I have ever seen. These 2 do have Storms though. 1 Storm each. He has to hit perfectly, and he does. But the reinforcements, I fear, will be too much for Spectre to handle, and there's 1 more Photon Overcharge remaining, not even activating that one. Nathan stimming in, and this is the last engagement we are going to have, as the Protoss player says, GGQP. GGQP? Maybe he can't handle his bladder. Maybe he needed to go pee, like good game, quick pee. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I know Q is just next to the W. I'm trying to spice things up. Christ. You guys are really putting me down. Like, stop. Stop! SDAPH. That's the esports word for stop. Alrighty, let's go into game number 2. Game number 2 is going to be played on Daybreak. But before we do, let us give a couple of shout-outs. So, 1 shout-out to GameShop for sponsoring Clan Mythology, whose web address is this, mythclan.com, if I remember correctly. So if you would be interested in joining the clan, which has quite a few good players, I have to say, you can check out the website. Wait, is it Myth Clan or Clan Myth? I need to do proper shoutouts. Oh, oh, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. Excuse me. That message needs to be deleted. Why can't I delete my own messages? So, clan-myth.com. Don't mess that up, otherwise you're going to end up on a porn site. I don't know why. Just don't mess that up. It's www.clan-myth.com. That's their website. So, yeah, Game Shop and Clan Myth. Thanks very much to Nathan for submitting this replay. Let us go into the second game, the ZVP on Daybreak. Overlay should be switched by now, guys. Alright, so Daybreak, a pretty old map, and this is My Insanity's PengWin in red, spawning as a Zerg in the bottom left, versus the blue Protoss computer spawning in the top right. Now, this is not a game versus AI, because AI would be designated as player 1 or player 2. This is just a random guy on the ladder just getting the name computer. And some of you may know PengWin from Team My Insanity, because he was the guy. If you follow Reddit, if you follow StarCraft 2 esports, you know that My Insanity just recently opened up a team house in Switzerland, a couple of kilometers away from the capital. And PengWin was the one giving the tour of the house in the video. So this is the guy. This is the man himself, the celebrity, or so some would think. And I have to say, we have casted quite a number of games of him recently. He's a very, very, very competent player. I think it will take him a couple more months before he goes full-time pro, because he's really good. Denying the Nexus as he's getting the pool, so this is not going to be the hatch first, but he needs and wants to delay the Nexus as much as possible, and he succeeded in doing that. Or maybe delaying the Forge, more like, because the Nexus, there wasn't even enough minerals for the Nexus yet. But at least he did scout. It is not going to be a gateway expansion, because if we look at PengWin's vision, he went all the way up into the base. So this scout was basically just to make sure it is not a gateway expand. This drone is just going to stay here for a while, for a later third, I imagine. PengWin does have his pool finished. The Overlords just popped, so he should be getting his first Zerglings out on the field momentarily here. For the time being, he's just opting to get drones and queens, getting distracted by the chat. A very nice tactic by his opponent. Always distract your opponents. They can make mistakes, especially if their APM is low, which is not PengWin's case, of course, because his APM constantly hovers around the 300s. Getting a gas, which is really interesting, because this kind of tells me that he wants to punish this expansion. Why would a Zerg get gas before a third expansion? Well, one instance is if he scouts a gateway expansion. Then it is prudent to get a gas before a third. You kind of want that quicker rolling speed. But PengWin did scout a Forge expand. So there is actually no point in getting the gas for safety reasons, because he's going to be just basically free to drone for the next 2 or 3 minutes or so. Unless he wants to get aggressive, or maybe he just likes getting a very quick link speed regardless, just to be safe versus potential later attacks, and being able to hunt down those pesky probes out on the map, such as this one, and any proxy pylons they may have put up. But look at this, very, very quick lair. Very quick lair. He doesn't even have any Zerglings out. He's got all the scouting he needs. He knows what the Protoss is up to. He knows it is going to take quite some time until the Protoss is able to mount any sort of offensive. So, you know, usually what the Zergs do is, oh, let me just take a third and let me just drone for an eternity, and when you do come attack me, I'm going to have like 70 drones, and when I see you moving out, I'm going to pump units like there is no tomorrow, and even if you do kill 20 of my drones, I'll still be even in economy versus you. The other approach is, oh, you're not going to be attacking for the next couple of minutes? Well, let me just tech up like crazy and get a huge army, so when you do attack, I'm gonna smash you to the ground. Which is what PengWin is doing. He's going very, very quick Hydras. Even taking a third gas, not getting any Evo chambers. He's just going to be pumping all his gas into Hydra upgrades and Hydralisks. A very nice decision here, because this, you know, this build that PengWin is doing makes you very safe versus any kind of gateway pressures, possibly even versus a Immortal Sentry all-in or any variant thereof. Just because when you have the Hydra speed and the Hydra range this quickly, you're able to kite with the Hydras a lot more effectively and not lose them, and with that range you're able to pick off sentries very efficiently as well. Oh, nice move there by PengWin, getting those Zaws before they can get into this small choke point, amplifying their cost effectiveness by several numbers. Now, Computer, he's getting Colossi straight up. Probably he knows how PengWin plays. Oh, no, wait a minute. He did scout that Hydrodon with the Mothership Core, but now the Mothership Core is kind of trapped. It cannot get away, so it will have to recall. First Hydras are on the way here for PengWin, so he's going to be he's going to have a pretty sizable force now. Since Computer did not go for a lot of gateways early on, he's still sitting on 4, and his Robo Bay is not done. He can't move out on the map without Colossus, at least one. And this is due to the fact that his unit count is pretty low. His reinforcement capabilities are very low as well compared to the Zergs. And most importantly, those Hydras being out on the field very, very quickly. If PengWin went for a third base and then a Hydrodon, it would be okay. The Colossi would be timed appropriately to deal with that, but as it is, he's a little bit behind on the Colossus count versus how many Hydras potentially PengWin might have on the field at this point in time. He doesn't have very many, but 15 Hydras, that's quite a firepower, and also, by getting that early Hydrodon, an early layer, this allows PengWin to get a faster Spire out, so by the time there are 2 or 3 Colossi out, he should have the capability to produce quite a lot of Corruptors to deal with those Colossi. This Colossus is getting caught off guard a little bit. Nice force fields there by Computer, segmenting the army of PengWin off a little bit, but it also means he's unable to defend his natural at this time. The Cybernetics core goes down, and this is what I was talking about before. PengWin can retreat with those Hydras very, very nicely here. And he did get a scout off. He knows the number of Colossus, which is 1 currently. And just judging by the army size, he also knows that the Protoss most probably is going to be expanding. So, as a response, he's getting 30 Lings out on the way. And he is going to be looking to deny this third expansion while taking a 5th and a 4th base as well. He's not producing any Hydras, and he's going for a huge Mutalisk switch. This is another approach you can use on how to deal with Colossus, or rather quick Colossus tech. So far, not a whole lot is going into the Protoss favor, I have to say. His Colossi were too late to counter the Hydras, putting him into a defensive position. And now, thanks to the quick Hydras and the quick layer, PengWin, by scouting those Colossi, is immediately switching to Mutalisks, which are the perfect counter if your opponent is going for a very quick Robo. He's not going to have enough Stalkers, potentially, to deal with this. Now, of course, Computer does know about this, thanks to this pesky observer that has not been picked off yet. So he already has cannons here, quite a lot of cannons, because he doesn't have that many units. So he's going to defend his main with the cannons, and defend his expansion and natural with units. But the problem for him is that PengWin does have these 2 additional bases up and running. These are purely for the gases at this point in time. He doesn't need to drone up right now. He needs to mass units, which is exactly what he's doing, and he's going for a huge mutable. Storm is in research for the Protoss player, but I don't really know if this is going to be enough. I mean, you can't deal with Mutalisks very efficiently with Storm. You can do so when there's not that many of them, but right now we have 21 meters out on the field, and with the new Mutalisk speed in Heart of the Swarm, they will be able to dodge any kind of storms really quickly. Moreover, we have 3 High Templars only out on the field, purely for defensive purposes with that storm. And you know, you place 1 storm, the Mutas dodge, regenerate health faster than you regenerate energy. And what are you going to achieve by that? As it is, there is not a whole lot of anti-air here. There are just 6 Stalkers versus 24 Mutas. This is not going to cut it. Storm! And a nice dodge, immediately sniping the High Templar, sniping another one before he can get the storm off. And all that is remaining are the Zealots, freshly warped in Stalkers. As another storm goes down, PengWin needs to be careful with these. He's actually going for a target firing down the Stalkers, and this should be it with 12 more Mutalisks on the way. The supplies doubling his opponent, and nothing to deal with these Mutas. The Computer is in a really rough spot, move commanding his Stalkers through the bouncing AoE of the Mutas. And now he's just going to do chipping damage here and there, trying to go for the easy targets, the pylons. Behind this, is he actually tech switching? No, he's not. He's committing everything to these Mutas, seeing that Computer does not have the counter to it, which the proper counter in this game would have been 2 Stargates immediately and playing defensive. Going Storm does not really cut it, and now he's flooding in Lings, seeing that the front is broken, no sentries to defend, just a couple of Zealots, and just getting more and more Mutas. But I feel like he's overextending just a little bit here. Another Warping of Stalkers should clean this up, and with Blink they can chase down those Mutas just a tad bit. Let's see how many workers have been killed. Only 5 for PengWin. The Protoss still on 74 probes, so actually he can still do this. And both players have been microing for quite a long time, so they're not macroing to the best of their abilities. But still, PengWin is going to be relentless with these Mutas, trying to attack wherever he can, but finally the Computer seems to be defending this as he should. He does have enough units to deal with this. He does have them in the correct spots as well. How many Lings actually do we have out on the field? Only 24, though that's not enough to kill this Expo or kill those workers there. And this is quite a lot of cannons. I don't really know if this is worth it for PengWin trying to go for these workers over these cannons. This is just taxing his opponent's APM and making him busy, basically, to give PengWin more time. He's getting a second Spire, heavily going to be investing into upgrades. And you know, without those Stargates, look at this, no Stargates for the Protoss player. Nice storm there, and the mutas are all bunching up. This group of mutas is becoming weaker and weaker by the second. Too bad there are no more storms available. The Protoss surely but steadily is running out of gas, and PengWin has to pull back, give those mutas time to regenerate health. Zealot run-by is not going to happen, says PengWin. I have air dominance. You're not moving out of your base anytime soon. Another blink in towards those mutas. Keep in mind though, PengWin is on 83 drones. He's been happily mining off of all of these 5 bases for the past 10 minutes. So, you know, he's got quite the bank. He doesn't have the gas because he's heavily investing into upgrades. The only thing that's keeping him alive at this point in time are the Mutalisks, as the upgrades for the Protoss are 3-3. He's already getting shields. Massive cancels going on at this would-be 4th base. But what PengWin does have is a nice number of larvae stacked up. Huge bank of minerals. So if he can manage to pull Protoss out of position, he can potentially kill his 3rd base with AT Lings. But he needs that food to go down. More storms going off onto the Mutalisks, weakening them greatly, but with that regeneration and the Protoss inability to move out, all they have to do is move out, wait, and, you know, as the saying goes, the only dead Mutalisks, the only good Mutalisk is a dead Mutalisk. These are pretty much still alive, and there's 28 of them. Hive going down in order for PengWin to be able to continue +3 attacks. Another cancel onto the 4th base. Protoss is mined out at his main. He's going to be very quickly mined out at the natural. PengWin trolling his opponent, getting expansions on his side of the map. Another dart in with the mutas. And, you know, at this point in time, though, I think the attack upgrades by the Stalkers and the Archons are just way too much for those mutas to stay in that battle for a prolonged time period. These links finally going to be active for once. Oh, okay, not. Just going to go back. What I would love to see, though, from PengWin at this point is getting Burrow. He doesn't have Burrow, but if he gets Burrow, he can, you know, after he cancelled that Nexus, he could have burrowed a Ling there. These Lings are going to go down pretty much. They're trying to focus down the Stalkers, but Computer is going to be having none of that. Mutalisks flying directly into the face of the Stalkers. That's not what you want to be doing. Are there any storms available? No, there are not. He needs to wait for a couple more seconds, but before he does, those High Templars are going to be sniped off. This one has energy for storm now. He needs to get in there and start working, but he goes down before he can actually manage to do so. And nice splits here from Computer, but just too many mutas. 2-2 in effect. And he has to GG out of the game. Guys, get Stargates. And before we go into the next game, I'm going to turn on the lights. There. Like I said, PengWin really a good player. And what makes him a good player, from the number of replays by him that I have watched, is what makes him a good player is not so much his mechanics, it's not so much his decision making in battle, because obviously it's not the best, as I have pointed out, and it could be improved. What makes him such a good player is that in every single game I have seen him played, he has a very clear plan of what he's going to do. A very clear plan by which his build is dictated. And he always follows with the plan. He never deviates. He always goes through with the plan. And his plan this game was stay alive by using very quick lair and Hydras. Go try to do some damage when he's not pushing me. And depending on what tech I scout, if I'm allowed to go Mutalisks, I will go Mass Muta. If I'm not allowed to go Mutalisks, just because maybe, you know, he's getting Mass Gateway units or Templars already or something, or he has a Stargate, I will continue to Mass Ling Hydra and take additional bases. That was his plan, and he stuck to it. And this is why he's winning games, because he has a clear idea of how the game is going to go, and he's following through with it. So, guys, just do that. You don't need superb GM micro nor macro mechanics, all that. Just have a clear plan and stick to it. The last game is going to be a ZVT on Akelon Wastes. So once again, thanks to my Insanity's PengWin for sending his replays to us. Appreciate it very much. And if you guys would want to contact PengWin, you can always do so here on Facebook /penguin.sc, or you can see his stream on Twitch /penguin_sc. And if you want to talk to him very shortly, you can do so on Twitter at MYIPenguin. Alrighty, let's go into the last game. This is going to be a ZVT on Akelon Wastes. Mattzour, We Wanna Win Clan Mattzour versus Neophyte Lumpas. Excuse me, my voice is a little bit ravaged right now because I was talking for the past 6 hours in work. As a teacher, you kind of tend to talk a lot. So, my voice is not the best. Spawning on Akelon Wastes, in the top left, we do see the Blue Zerg Neophyte Lumpas. His opponent is going to be the Green Terran in the bottom right. His name is Mattzour. Or Mattzour. I'm just going to call him Matt. Matty! And I, of course, do believe that we do have Matt in the chat as well. So apparently, judging by the description of this game from the email, this is a fairly long game. And a fairly epic one as well. So before we go into the details though, a couple of announcements. Tomorrow's show will probably end up being cancelled because I might either have a business meeting in the evening or potentially even leave town for 2 days. So I will not be able to cast Friday. So potentially episode number 14, which is to be aired tomorrow, will not be aired, will be cancelled. And then on Sunday, I will be casting the DSCL League on twitch.tv/DSCL. DSC League, excuse me. So that stands for Dutch StarCraft League. Check them out at www.dutchstarcraft.com. www.dscl.nl. Live finals are upon us. June 1st in Den Haag, or The Hague, in Netherlands. Casted live by me, Lurlian, Mattzour, Wyman, and Mythology Odin, I think. So, if you don't follow my Twitter nor Facebook yet, you might want to do so. I'll be tweeting about it. I'll be giving you the correct stream address because we will have 2 streams. And there's going to be quite a lot of good players. Harstem is going to be there most probably if he ends up qualifying. That is because so far he is in the losers bracket together with Red. Would you imagine that? So Red, Puyo, Harstem, Grubby, Dark Omicron potentially can end up going. Maybe if Morton Storm beats Red in the loser brackets, he might take his spot, actually, which would be quite awesome for the Danish player. But so far we do have 2 Reapers. Very good micro by Mattzour here, getting quite a lot of done. Only killing 1 drone, but making Lumpas ramp up his APM quite a lot. He's not missing any injects, though. That's what I have to say. He's not missing any injects at all. And with 2 queens now, he will be able to push those 2 Reapers back quite comfortably. First Lings on the way, just the 2 of them. Now the important thing for Lumpas, he did scout this second command center. And let me actually see if he scouted the factory as well. No, he has not. But this is the usual opening in today's ZVTs. You open up with Reapers and then get a factory with a reactor behind that. Lumpas going for quite a high number of queens here. So 4 queen opening, continues to mine gas even though he's got enough for speed. So not getting a 3rd base up all that fast. Scratch that, he is. 6-minute mark and 40 seconds. That's a decent timing for a 3rd base versus a relatively fast expanding turn. Matt does have already 3 Hellions out though, so they're going to have no problem whatsoever dealing with these Lings. Ooh, clutch! Clutch there from Matt, not letting that Ling up the ramp because potentially he could have scouted something, which Lumpas scouts anyways. And that is the 3rd command center. So very fast 3rd command center. Usually this type of play is followed up by double engineering play for upgrades, for very quick upgrades. Mattzour already is getting tanks. And Lumpas is ahead in upgrades as of this point, which is mostly the case in ZVTs. So I really wouldn't be surprised if Mattzour got his double NG base down at this point, but no. He's going to be following this up with adding more racks. Lumpas sees this, so he knows a timing is inevitable. Just because, you know, by not investing into upgrades, basically Mattzour is committing himself to pushing the Zerg and doing damage. If he fails to do that, then he's going to be playing from behind for the rest of the game. So there we have the double NG base, but they are the upgrades are going to be one tier behind his opponent. This is not what you want to be having as a Terran. Basically, versus a Ling Bling army, you can't engage versus the Zerg unless you run even upgrades. As soon as the Zerg hits 2-2, his army is going to be so deadly if all you have is 1-1. Quite a lot of Lings being forced out here by Matt, just by moving these Hellions around on the map. Lumpas might be trying to go and try to deny the 3rd base. The rocks are still in place though, so this command center is not going to be floating over anytime soon. Behind this, Lumpas is getting a Spire. His 1-1 is finishing. He's going to go into 2-2 immediately here. He does have the gas to do that. Of course, he is stockpiling that gas for potentially Mutalisks or Banelings, but he doesn't need any Banelings right now. Mattzour is being pretty passive. Just by having those tanks, that's all the cues that Lumpas needs. He knows Mattzour is not going to be moving out on the map. Nice positioning on the Widow Mines. Lumpas being kind of careless to running his Lings here. Because when that Widow Mine recharges, it's going to kill all of those. So continuing with the +2/+2 upgrades. Mattzour just now starting his. Yep, the Widow Mine does get 7 kills. That was not a good thing to happen to Lumpas. But his drone count, look at it, 70 drones. He's got the tech, he's got the Spire up, he's got the Baneling Nest, he's got 2/2 rolling out. And he can start producing army, quite honestly, at this point in time. Mattzour's third being quite late. This is what I said. This is actually what I consider to be a mistake on Matt's part. When you're not getting immediate upgrades, you've got to push. Otherwise, the Zerg macro just may get out of hand. It's not guaranteed, but it may. Mattzour delaying his upgrades, going for the third base, not pushing, is giving the Zerg way more time than what he should be having. So Mattzour going to start dropping like crazy. This is basically the only way he can be aggressive at this point in time, with drops. Because he knows, just by the timings of his upgrades, that he can't take the Zerg army head on. And Lumpas is a pretty good player. He's not going to be caught off guard by something like, oh, you're attacking right now. Oh my gosh, I don't have any units. How the fuck? No, Lumpas is too smart for that. He's not going to be caught off guard. Mattzour knows this. It might have worked against a lesser player, just counting on the fact that the Zerg is not going to produce units in time. But against this Zerg, never going to work. And Lumpas already transitioning into Hive Tech. He's looking to sync up the Hive with his 2/2 upgrades finishing, and placing down the Ultralisk Cavern as soon as he can. The Hive is just a little bit later than would be ideal, but still, he's so far ahead in this game as far as tech goes. He's kind of on even economy if we take in the fact that the Zerg units are not as cost efficient versus the Terran army. Mutalisk trying to dart in, do a little bit of damage, but not achieving all that much. So having to retreat. Another drop being sent out by Matt, and I think once again it was spotted by the Overlord, potentially. Oh, nice drop timing. He may actually get this without a cancel. And he does! So nice pickup there for Mattzour. He's probably going to just load up and try to drop the natural base, or just sacrifice this drop, because the medevac quite surely is going to go down. Lumpas clearing this out quite nicely. Another drop with Hellbats occurring at the 4th base, but only one drone has been killed with this, I think. Oh no, actually, okay, so all those 9 drones were killed there. This Viking has 1 kill, which means the Overlord is not in position any longer. Mattzour wants to get a feeling right now where the army for Lumpas is. First Ultralisks are on the way though, so basically Mattzour is on a clock. He has to kill the Zerg. Kill the majority of the Zerg's army before the Ultralisks are out. That's what he needs to do, but he will not be able to. There's quite a lot of defending units out here for Lumpas, but at the same time not quite enough for Lumpas to kill this army straight up. And with the Widow Mines getting 1 hit onto the Mutalisks, he can't really engage into that position. He's just waiting for those Ultras. At the same time, this is a choke point. Those Ultras are just going to be severely damaged just by going through that choke point into the tanks. And here we see the maneuvering from Matt, dropping the 3rd base of the Zerg. And he was actually thinking of moving out here, but he just moved ahead inch by inch, little by little. And I think he did scan those ultras. He did see them as well with the medevacs, so he knows they are out. Of course, being aware of the current metagame, he suspected them coming out for a long time now. Still staying only on 2-2, not continuing his upgrades. A great mistake, I have to say. He should have been on 3-3 by now, or at least halfway done, more likely. So just clearing up some creep. I have to say I don't really like the positioning of these tanks, just because their radius is here, and they would be more efficient back here, shelling the units through the choke point and having the mines out here, so that you can kite through the minefields. Constant dropping coming out from Matt though, and always keeping Lumpas busy. Another drop taken out though by the Spore Crawler, gets 1 kill. And I think Lumpas, if he sees the positioning on these units, Blinding Cloud on the tanks, not the best angle for Lumpas to engage from, but he's going for it anyways. Mattzour realizing those tanks are forfeit, retreating the rest of his units back. He does have reinforcements back home. His food supply is still at 180, but his army for some reason looks to be really small. The space is never going to go up, and it is going to get killed by the mutas, by the way, so... One more drop in the main base. Nice call. He knows the majority of the Zerg army is out of position, out on the field, so he's just going to comfortably drop. He will get this +3 attack, and that is actually quite helpful for Mattzour, since he only just now started his +3. He is getting drilling close as well, an upgrade he has neglected for the past couple of minutes. This allows him to re-establish center map position and try to retake the space yet again. Wouldn't be surprised if he tried to double expand as well. 4 command centers being built. Maybe an SCV sacrifice run is in the making and he's going to start relying on mules, or maybe he just wants to have infinite number of scans. Who knows? Baneling Nest being rebuilt by the Zerg. And Mattzour, well, he really needs to deny bases more than anything else at this point in time. Again, Lumpas driving him away from the spores. Mattzour immediately loading up. Is this going to be scouted? No, he's just dropping the units on the high ground. Nice call there. And this Widow Mine positioning, I have to say, is very nice. Another drop at the third base, but for all the dropping, I have to say, all those drops, apart from killing 1 evolution chamber and a Baneling Nest, have not done all that much for Matt. So not being very cost effective with those drops and losing those almost every single time, because the Zerg does have Mutalisks still in number out on the field, and he's keeping them alive just for the sole purpose of being safe versus drops. Not trying to harass with them or anything, just having them to chase down medevacs. Smart play there by Lumpas. Lumpas is trying to go in. I'm wondering if we do have a transition ready. Just 1 starport. Oh, and this is a bad spot to engage for the Zerg. Look at the split by Matt. He does have his units perfectly positioned to deal with those Ultralisks. This was the big mistake the Zerg should not have made. Mattzour coming out victorious out of this battle. The army supply drops drastically for Lumpas, and with 3-3 of Mattzour just about to finish up, he's going to be able to counterattack the Zerg quite swiftly here, because all he's going to be having... well, okay, the Ultralisks are about to pop, so he is going to reinforce that in time, but still, very cost-effective engagement for Mattzour. The resources lost tab shows us that he just with this one battle pulled ahead of the Zerg, whereas he's been behind the whole game, getting high sec auto tracking and turn building armor as well, making those planetary fortresses that much more stronger. Another drop in the main base getting taken out. So, you know, Lumpas, I have to say, if he did not have such a large bank, he's a little bit in a tough spot here, because he's behind on bases. Why do I say this? Because he's been mining of this base for quite a longer time than Matt has been. And he realizes this. This is why he's pushing and he's trying to kill this planetary fortress. He will get a lot of SCVs and the planetary fortress will end up getting killed. But if his army gets caught out of position and dies, he doesn't have the gas currently to replenish that. And this is exactly what Mattzour is going to do. Nice hits, but damaging his bio in the way as well. And the banelings are still alive. Blinding clouds forcing him to kite back yet again and again and again. But that's a lot of marauders. If he can actually kill these ultralisks, he will be in a very good position. And he's target firing them down one by one. They fall. Not a good move by Lumpas, if you ask me. The army supply is even, but the army composition is way better for Mattzour at this point in time. 6 Ultralisks are on the field, but with this many Marauders, not a whole lot of Marines, and still having Widow Mines for support against the Lings and Banelings, Mattzour is in a very good spot, using the Widow Mines to try and... Oh, if he burrowed them a little bit closer there. Oh, huge hits on the Banelings! Big mistake by Lumpas. Mattzour is going to kill this 5th base as well, putting him even further ahead. The Zerg is starting to fall apart a little bit here, and that might just give Mattzour the edge he needs, despite not having the ideal game so far. So this base ends up being killed. I doubt it was cancelled. Even if it was, a very nice move there by Mattzour, and very good pickup. Widowmine still being annoying. Look how much hurt this Ultralisk is. He needs first aid. Double drop in the main, to which Lumpas can't respond, saying question mark. Probably he was responding to something else. At the same time, this base under attack. Lumpas just barely will be able to drive these units off, but all of this is giving Mattzour to mass more army, adjust his army composition even more. And look at this, being very, very cost effective with these drops all of a sudden. Lumpas, he just can't keep up with all the action. Matt is still denying this base, and he's going in to stim into the 4th. If he kills the 4th... Oh! Those were the hits Mattzour needed. All the banelings are gone, and all he has to do right now is kite this army for infinity. The Ultralisks will never catch up to them. They will end up going down. Mattzour can even retreat to this planetary fortress here. At the same time, he's clearing out creep and spine crawlers, which are the only defense versus drops that Lumpas has back home. And even harassing the 3rd base, these couple of units have done such a tremendous job. Lumpas forced to pull his units back, opening himself up for yet another counterattack by Matt to this base, and this base, Matt just relentlessly trying to deny bases of Lumpas, and it's starting to pay off little by little. Look at this. Every time Lumpas tries to expand, Mattzour is right on top of that, denying, killing expansions, killing workers, making Lumpas busy, occupying him all over the place. And this is without tanks, ladies and gentlemen. This is without ghosts. This is without battle cruisers, without nukes. Just pure bio and Matt's ability to properly, tactically move his units around on the battlefield. Another drop unloaded into the 3rd base. Not very much of that drop is surviving, admittedly, but Mattzour constantly threatening this 7 o'clock expansion to go down, or probably 8 o'clock, excuse me. And he's got so many orbitals. He can scan forever and ever and ever and ever. What's in this army? Just Infestors and Ultralisks. As long as Mattzour can heal this army up for a little bit by staying still, by staying still. Matt, god damn it, heal your fucking army. Jeez. And avoid the fungals. He's going to be totally alright. Oh, but a huge fungal catching half of his standing forces. Matt in a little bit of a bind here just by mis-microing slightly. Meanwhile, a second force is being sent to the heart of the Zerg swarm, to the heart of the Zerg territory. At the same time, another drop at the 1 o'clock base. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt sent out another drop into the main at this point in time, or just stimp these units and try to take out these two hatcheries. The income for the Zerg is dropping. It's the income rate is below the Terrans right now. The bank is dwindling. Matt is really cost efficient with his units, and Lumpa's not adjusting his composition properly, or not nearly quickly enough to be able to deal with Mattzour's units. We are at the 32-minute mark, and this game is still not over. Both players have been maxed constantly for the past 15 minutes. And this can be the engagement Lumpas is looking for, trying to go for the surround. Can he get his ultras in there? Can he get the fungals? Maneuvering Mattzour into a corner. Fungals do go down, but the Ultralisks are not engaging. They are being funneled through a choke point. Mattzour losing the entirety of his army. Can he reinforce at a high enough rate to deal with this army? Because right now Lumpas can just go and try to take out Mattzour's bases somewhere. There are no drops being active out on the map anywhere. Mattzour does not have an option right now of how to push this army back with so many Ultralisks remaining, just having, what, 7 Marauders? Are you kidding me? That's a non-issue, just use fungals, man. But Lumpa's a little bit scared of those Widow Mines, actually not taking them out despite having the Overseers with him, but now he goes in. He's being a little bit indecisive, and it's proving to be his greatest flaw in this engagement. I think he very well may have taken this army out just by landing one fungal, and it's not like he did not have energy to do that. Here we go again, even more Ultralisks joining the fray. 3 nukes in production though. Do we have any ghosts out on the field? No, we don't. Look how many ghost academies Mattzour is getting, trying to backstab his opponent yet again. The income, though, is still not that much high for the Zerg player, for him to be able to, or to be able to afford throwing units left and right. The Mutalisks, however, have been cleaned out, which means Mattzour can start dropping all over the place, constantly harassing the Zerg player, and try to get back into the game that way. 3 ghosts in production. We have 3 nukes out already, and Lumpas really should be more mindful of where he's sending his units through, because he's needlessly... Oh my god! He's needlessly just losing infestors, links, banelings left and right, really being a little bit careless. 1 Marine... Oh... is not going to die to drones, obviously, because, well, it is, because it's targeting down the hatchery. Alright. Another engagement in the making here, though. The Widow Mines are in a fairly good position, and getting a fair amount of links in the process. Even SCV is being used to buffer. Right now, Matt needs crucial nukes. He doesn't have personal cloaking, though. He can't cloak those ghosts. It's not even on the research tab. Both players are starting to be really strung out for resources, mining out the map. A Ling run by into the 2 o'clock base means that Mattzour will lose even more harvesters. Down to 33 SCVs only, but doesn't matter with all those orbital commands. And without any overseers, he's driving the Zerg army back. Nice move there by Lumpas, trying to trigger the Widow Mines, but oh, that's a monofungal if I ever saw one. A lot of those banelings decimating the army. Where are the nukes, Matt? Ultralisks still staying alive. Army supplies actually in favor of Matt. His overall supply is less, but that's because he's got less harvesters. But Lumpas can't kill his army. He can kite this. He doesn't have any fungals available. And it's not like the ultras are going to catch this army anytime soon. And like I said, he's running out of minerals. Ling reinforcements are really heavy on the minerals, and he doesn't have any bases to mine from. Distance mining from the 1 o'clock base. This base mined out. This base might get taken out if Matt focuses his efforts on it. This base very shortly will be mined out here. This is such an awesome game. We are at the 39-minute mark. Personal cloaking for the ghosts finally goes down on Matt's production tab. Still 3 nukes. Ready, armed to go. 1 nuke going on to this hatchery. Another defensive or offensive nuke in this point in time going off. I wouldn't be surprised if a third one was targeted somewhere like here. 1 nuke landing onto the hatchery, second one landing here, both of those missing. Third nuke going to kill this hatchery most probably, although I do think a third one will be needed. No, Matt! The personal cloaking is still not down. Nice snipes going off though, and a lot of units. Yeah, a third nuke will be required. But even if the hatchery does go up, it will be severely hurt. Just a couple of marines can kill this right now. And as personal cloaking gets closer and closer to being finished, all Matt has to do is snipe. Literally using snipe to snipe that overseer, and nukes mayhem will ensue. Great EMP onto those infestors, preventing the fungals, forcing Lumpas to go back. He doesn't have minerals. He can't reinforce. He doesn't have any money units out on the field. 3 ultralisks? What's that going to do without fungals, I ask you? Another nuke going down. Lumpas unable to detect the ghost. Ooh, hatchery actually surviving. Okay, not surviving. The ghost does manage to kill that hatchery with a couple of shots of that gauss rifle. Lumpas, well, his only chance is to wait for the energy on the infestors. Maybe even kill this base. That also is an option, but that base can be lifted off anytime. SCV's being pulled, the base gets lifted. And I think his only chance right now, because he really doesn't have much mining going for him. 200 mineral income. Granted, Matt is at 0 right now. Because of the mules, all his expansions are already mined out, and he doesn't have this one. This is going to be the point of contention. But at the same time, the army supply for Matt is 100 versus 60, approximately. And like I said, only 4 ultralisks, couple of lings, and a bunch of infestors that have been recently EMP'd. Lumpas can't engage. He does have this overseer with his army still. So as long as he keeps that alive, he can and he's careful, he can avoid the EMPs. And he has to hope for good, really good fungal to go off. So far, that has not happened. And, well, Mattzour, he can't make any more nukes. So this army is all he's got for a decent number of time. Distance mining with the SCVs, trying to float a command center over there. And using this command center as sort of a scout, he really needs this base just as much as Lumpas needs either this one or at least this one. Mattzour needs this one. Because he'll never be able to take this one, and it's been mined from quite heavily over the course of this game, so he really wants this base. He's got his army in a perfect position to deny an attack on that base. So he's defending that base just by positioning his army correctly. Another EMP on all of the infestors. I think right now Mattzour might just go for it, knowing that this was the last fungal the Zerg had. He can just stimp for the win and kill these units. There's not that many of them to begin with. And he's even scanning. He knows how small the army is. He's going for it, pushing the Zerg back and further back. Come on, don't be lazy, Matt. Hit that stim button. Okay, he's being careful, only stimming a couple of units. Lumpas forced out of the game, being starved to death, and Mattzour preventing his units from being killed. In the end, saying, yeah, the Ultralisk is very, very OP, huh? GG. So, despite Matt not having the ideal mid-game, just because of how he set himself up for it in the early game, not getting those NG bays, he was able to survive for long enough to outmaneuver Lumpas. And he did a great job. I mean, as long as those Mutalisks were out, Mattzour could not really get any drops in. But as soon as he managed to kill those Mutalisks with a series of exchanges in the center of the map, he just started harassing like crazy, and that was the point that Lumpas was very slow responding to. He just wasn't able to maintain his economy, and over time, his bank dwindled. He ran out of minerals, and he ran out of options. And Matt, very tactically, moving his units around and strategically playing this out, secured a win. Very nice game by Mattzour. This is why I like watching his games, because this guy has a brain. Not saying the other players don't, but you know what I mean. This guy has a brain. So that is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Before I do go off, just a couple of things. Of course, this show, I'm casting your games, so if you do have a Master vs. Master replay you'd like me to cast, send it to BelleNOiRtv with the title Cast My Game and a short description, and it might get picked. Quite possible. Of course, if you want to support prize pools for followers tournaments that we are hosting, it helps us greatly. Every dollar actually helps us, or every $5. Then you can do so by going to your PayPal and sending a donation to the same account, BelleNOiR@cesnam.cz. If you want, in both cases, you can also give us links to websites you'd like me to shout out for you, your Twitters, your streams, whatever. And tell your friends. If you like the cast, you can tell your friends something like, "This guy casted the shit out of my game. I felt awesome when I watched that. I felt like a pro winning the GSL." And you know, if you do this enough, then your friends might tell someone else, and they might tell a manager of a team, and you might get scouted. You might land a contract, or at least be accepted into an academy. You never know. So it's all for you guys, exposing you to the world of esports. Last update before I go off: tomorrow's show very likely might get cancelled because either I will have a business meeting or potentially be out of town. So don't expect me to be here tomorrow, but I will be back Monday, and before that, Sunday on twitch.tv/DSC League. One of the last two broadcasts that are going to happen before the Dutch StarCraft League offline finals in The Hague, where I'll be casting live a week from now, June 1st. So for all the information, you can go to www.dscl.nl. Why isn't this... Oh. Why isn't this being pasted as a link? I have no idea. So, thank you for watching. VODs will be up shortly, or tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in episode number 14, whenever that might be. Until that time, stay safe, good luck, have fun, keep owning, and remember to storm first and ask questions later. Bye-bye. Hey.